anything but Jesus. That's what the world's looking for. And today we see a movement among many churches. They actually go into neighborhoods with a little questionnaire, and they ask people, what would it take to get you into church? And the people, they want a coffee shop in the church, and they want to make sure that there's a playhouse for the kids, and they want to make sure that there's this and there's that, and they got to make sure you've got the right band, and you have to have everything, and they want everything but Jesus. It's obvious today that the world wants anything but Jesus. Do you realize today that if you speak against any people group, it's considered hate crime and hate speech? You can be kicked out of school, you can be kicked out of college, you can be fired from your job if you speak out against any group except Christians. You're allowed to bash Christians. You're allowed to talk bad about those hypocrites. You're allowed to speak anything you want to against Christians. You can talk about getting high. You can talk about getting drunk. You can talk about loose living, sleeping around. You can talk about the pornography you looked at last night. You can forward dirty emails. You can do anything you like. But if you mention the name of Christ, you'll get called into the office. And you'll be in trouble. The world today wants anything but Jesus. Anything but Jesus. See, as Paul went through Athens, he noticed they had a lot of gods. Hey, and as you drive around today, you'll notice we got a lot of gods. A lot of people worship money. They think this is the answer to all their problems. And make no mistake, money is not evil. But the love of money is the root of all evil. A lot of people worship money. Oh, they're happy. You let the economy crash and folks start jumping out of windows. We live in a day and age where money, the flash, the glitz, you can't have nice tires on your car, somebody will come and steal your wheels. You can't have a nice stereo in your car, somebody will come. Why? Because they want the impression that they have a lot of money. You'll see people going around with, they call it bling bling, and they got their bling bling on, and they've got all their fancy jewelry and all their fancy stuff, and they look, and then you'll go by and see where they live, and they live in squalor. There are, in our country, many who just worship entertainment. They will shut down everything for the Super Bowl. There are people today that are glued to the TV because it's the Daytona 500. And I like car racing. I'm not against that. I'm not missing church for it. I just hate to think that I had to stand before God one day and explain why I didn't come to church because of a car race. You realize that there's people today that know more about the life of Britney Spears than they know about Christ. Amen. There's people today that I was seeing something on the news the other day, and there's some girl named Hannah Montana or something. I don't know. I don't keep up with all that stuff. There's a Hannah Montana, whatever that is. And somebody met a Hannah Montana. And when they met that thing, the little girl started crying. And she just, I saw Hannah Montana, and she was crying. I thought, my soul, how sad. How sad that we live in a day and age, and they'll come and they'll hear a message about Jesus Christ dying on the cross, and laughing with their friends. But let a Hannah Montana walk by and look at them, and they'll break down in tears. Friends, the world wants everything but Jesus. Anything but Jesus. We're just in a world today that's kind of messed up. You look over here, one of the biggest construction projects going on in Dallas-Fort Worth right now is the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. And you go over and you look at that, and this last week they started selling tickets. You have to pay between $100,000 and $150,000 just for the privilege of paying $350 to $500 a seat, and they sold 7,500 on day one. Biggest construction project going on. Matter of fact, it's so important
It's such an important and vital thing in our city that they had to kick people out of their houses that didn't want to sell. Because we have to have it. Can you imagine if I said, no, these 6 houses are in the way. We want to build a church building over here. We just need to clear out this neighborhood. It'll take 6 houses for the size of our church. And then we're going to need about 20 more houses for the parking lot. They'd laugh me out of City Hall. But you let a Jerry Jones or a Hannah Montana come in and all of a sudden they'll start knocking down houses and charging millions. We worship entertainment. And so a lot of churches now have gone into the entertainment business. I preached a message one time called the Chuck E. Cheese churches. You walk in and you notice the loud worldly music. There's a lot of games being played. People coming there to get fed, just get fed with a bunch of junk, and there's a rat up front keeping everybody entertained so they don't realize they're getting ripped off. We've gone to the Chuck E. Cheese church age. We're in a mess. A few years ago, they got into laughing. And they'd come in and they'd have laugh revivals. And all the church, everybody would come in, and they would laugh. And then some idiot threw some gold glitter one time. It's crazy. And now you're not a hip church and you're not with it if you don't have a frappuccino and a cappuccino machine in the foyer. Always got to find something new. And be careful that you don't ever worship a man. Men will fail you. There's a large group of people today that are following Joseph Smith. And if he believes what he's written, the people that follow him will burn in hell just like he is. They're putting their faith and trust in anything but Christ. They put their faith and trust in something else. They change their doctrines to fit their current situation. They change the Bible. They rewrite Scripture. God help, we're in a mess today. Today there's a lot of people following Muhammad. Can I tell you that Muhammad's dead in a grave somewhere? He's dead, 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 just like the religion that he founded, just like the people that follow him, dead. And today, they'll follow him, they'll follow Muhammad because he has promised them that if they'll be faithful and they'll die in service to him, I don't know what the women get, but the men, if they die in service to him, they'll get 72 virgins. What kind of sick, demented little G God are they following that has to lure people in with sex? Jesus has the keys to death and hell. Muhammad apparently just has keys to the whorehouse. That's all that is. I'm not trying to be crude. I'm trying to get you to see that our babies are being taught in school. The 6th graders, at least we know it for a fact. I have it written down. I have the copies of their books and copies of their handouts. They are being taught in depth. False Christianity where there's 2 ways to get to heaven and neither one of them's right. And they're being taught in depth the 5 pillars of faith for the Islamic religion in our public schools in Grand Prairie, Texas today. And I sent out 57 letters. 57 letters to 57 Baptist churches, and 1 deacon called me back. 3 months ago, I sent 57 letters to 57 preachers of 57 Baptist churches and got 1 deacon to call back. We're in a mess, folks. Yeah. Amen. We are in an absolute fight for the souls of our kids. We are in a struggle for the souls of our community. And I'm afraid we're losing. We're not losing because they have something better. We're not losing because they have something to offer. We're losing because not enough people are trying, not enough people are taking a stand, and even the other churches are offering anything but Jesus. And what the world needs is nothing but Jesus. Amen.